Tonight, putting a price on a new police station.
I would rather not have to spend $91 million on a police facility, but the reality is that we are going to have to do it.
The campaign in Sarnia for new headquarters. Plus, stolen gear.
It breaks my heart. Something that we've worked so hard to get.
An appeal for help after thieves steal a young girl's custom wheelchair. And an unexpected donation. The surprise contribution to London's food bank, capping off a successful Thanksgiving campaign.
The reason why this generosity is like this is because the need is so great.
CTV News with Carlisle Fizette.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a sudden political announcement in St. Thomas. A longtime local politician is stepping down after decades of public service.
I'm tendering my resignation as a city councilor effective immediately. I need to focus, and I want to focus on this, working on behalf of the Ontario greenhouse vegetable growers.
Steve Peters was first elected mayor 37 years ago at the age of 25. At the end of tonight's meeting, Peters told his colleagues his other job as chair of the Ontario Vegetable Growers has become too much to juggle. In addition to his previous mayoral term and his last 7 years as a councillor, Peters was also an MPP.
Well, it's been a great run. You know, I've been a mayor, I've been a minister of agriculture, minister of labor, the speaker of the legislature, another 7-year stint on council. And for me, it's all about serving people. I've been passionate over the years about putting people first, and that's something that I will miss because public service is something that's really important.
I'll never downplay the knowledge that's in that man's head about the history of our community and things that have happened in the past. But what he also helped us do was put together a really comprehensive strategic plan for this city moving forward. Things that Steve Peters has touched will carry on with his legacy, you know, even after he's not sitting in the horseshoe working with us.
Sarnia police are campaigning for a new police station. They've launched a dedicated website pitching their vision for a new building, which could cost upwards of $100 million. As Sean Irvin reports, debate on the cost and timing is already heated.
It has yet to reach its 40th birthday, but Sarnia Police and its Police Services Board argue headquarters on Christina Street is past its prime. The deputy chief puts it bluntly.
We are crawling over each other inside there.
Among a long list of deficiencies cited are an improper firing range and forensic lab, hard to monitor jail cells, and poor building accessibility. The force says the situation is past the point of renovation or expansion. It wants a new headquarters.
We can continue to sink money into this facility, but at some point, I think we have to do the thing that is the most efficient and effective and is best for the taxpayer as well.
The price tag is expected to exceed $90 million. Wiersma acknowledging that number could climb once the station is fully outfitted. To date, only the potential location for a new police station has been approved by City Council, south of London Road. There are plenty of roadblocks in the way before any shovels hit the ground. While a pair of Sarnia councillors sit on the Police Services Board, opposition is substantial. Mayor Mike Bradley, a former board chair, is among them. He told CTV News point blank Tuesday, Sarnia taxpayers cannot afford it. Bradley claims a hefty immediate tax increase followed by an annual 10% tax increase for several years would be needed. Some members of the public have also raised their eyebrows, especially when an initial report suggested the current station could be upgraded for just over $4 million. But the police force maintains that report looked only at the building's structure, not the operational needs of the force in an era of rising gun crime and community outreach.
We have outgrown this, so the opportunity to build a building with 30 years forward looking is a great opportunity for us.
I would rather not have to spend $91 million on a police facility. I wish we could spend it in other areas, but the reality is that we are going to have to do it, and if we don't do it today, we're just kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be more expensive.
In Sarnia, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A major loss over the long weekend for a local family. Their minivan was stolen right from their driveway. But as Brian Bicknell reports, their bigger concern is what was inside the vehicle.
Meet Winter. She is almost 3 years old and a bundle of smiles and laughter.
She's basically a little Energizer bunny.
But this Energizer bunny has had a rough start to her young life. The youngest of 5 children and an identical twin to sister Wednesday. Winter was born premature, diagnosed with intrauterine growth restriction, respiratory disease, a severe form of epilepsy, and a host of other medical issues that restrict her mobility.
Yeah, she can't roll around in the yard with her peers. She's going to have to be held.
You see, on the morning of Thanksgiving Monday, Kirsten, a single mom, made a devastating discovery. Someone had stolen the family's minivan from the driveway. All of Winter's special needs equipment was inside, including her custom-made wheelchair.
Want your music? It breaks my heart. Something that we've worked so hard to get so that she can be with her peers and she can just do everything like everybody else, just sit there and play and be able to get around on her own, working towards mobility and using those wheels on her own. It's heart-wrenching. Anybody with special needs child will know how difficult it is to just get the equipment, let alone how devastating it is when they don't have it anymore, when it's become a daily thing for them.
Kirsten has already canvassed her neighborhood, hoping somebody might have some kind of security footage that could help. She's also posted her story on social media, looking for tips. So far, though, she's come up empty-handed and broken-hearted, and a little girl is without her lifeline. She has also filed a report with police, but Kirsten says she is not concerned about the van. What she's really hoping is that somehow the equipment will find its way back to this little Energizer bunny.
So my hope is that they'll just discard it, they'll leave it somewhere, maybe an alleyway, and maybe somebody in the city will see it.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Good evening. We are live tonight from Western University's Ronald D. Schmeichel Building for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Now, tonight, London tourism and hospitality leaders are celebrating a major milestone. We're joined by Luca Monti, president of SCAL International. Now, Luca, tell us a little bit about SCAL for those viewers at home who may not know what it is, what it's about. Tell us about tonight's event.
Yeah, so SCAL is spelled S-K-A-L. It is Scandinavian for cheers. So it started in the early 1900s as a way, fellowship amongst different countries to join together and share in their tourism and the relationships between those countries. So that's kind of how it all started.
You're celebrating 50 years tonight in the City of London, bringing together, tourism, hospitality industry. Tell us about tonight's celebration.
Yeah, so the London chapter specifically is around now for 50 years. As of today is the 50th anniversary. So, this started before my time. It's amazing that SCAL is present in a lot of major cities around the world. It's a worldwide organization, and we basically represent the travel, tourism, hospitality sector in all those major cities. So we've got a lot of heavy hitters within the industry here tonight with us. People from the airport. We've got hoteliers, restaurateurs, attractions.
All right. And tell us a little bit about, quickly, future for London and the next 50. What are we looking forward to in the city?
Well, the city's growing, and we're so excited to see that. There's a lot of big plans on the horizon. We just had the Hard Rock Hotel open up. We've got the second phase coming up at 100 Kellogg Lane. They're expanding at the Canada Life Place. And, those kind of things need to happen. The infrastructures need to get bigger for us to be able to do big things within the city. So really exciting to be part of it all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's bound to be a wonderful evening. Lots of people filtering in right now. Conditions across our region are perfect for an evening indoors or outdoors. Temperature today was gorgeous this afternoon, into the upper teens, low 20s towards Windsor. In London on the hour, 17 degrees as we head to Huron Perth, 13 to 14 degrees. And winds light out of the north. We have a weak cold front coming in tonight. This is not going to spark a whole lot in the way of active weather, but it will bring us a bit of cloud cover through the overnight and about a 30% chance of showers as we wake up tomorrow morning to a bit of cloud, but some breaks of sunshine on the way as we head to mid-morning and then into the afternoon. Milder tonight than it's been, 12 degrees by midnight, and we'll stay at about 8 degrees through the overnight. Coming up, I'll take you through the extended forecast. We do have some sunshine on the way by tomorrow afternoon, but an unsettled weekend setting up in the region. We'll take a look at a low pressure area that will bring some measurable rainfall to much needed rainfall to southern Ontario. I'll have all of that live on location from SCAL, the international organization celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Thanks very much, Julie. Provincial police say a local farmer was seriously injured in a crash involving a tractor and cattle trailer last night. They say it happened near Lucknow around 8:30 p.m. According to police, the 29-year-old driving the tractor was rear-ended by someone driving a pickup truck, and they were airlifted to hospital. The tractor ended up in the middle of the highway on its side. Police closed the road until early this afternoon for their investigation, and at this point they say no charges have been laid. An explosion rocked a construction site north of Toronto this morning. Several workers were taken to hospital, some with critical injuries. Beth McDonnell has the latest.
Workers burned in the gas explosion were assessed on the ground by paramedics. This man on a stretcher, this man at the back of an ambulance. As a mass exodus of employees made their way out of the 3 towers in the condo development under construction.
We heard on the radio that there was a big explosion. One of our guys was up there. His name's Peter. He seems to be doing okay compared to some of the other people, but yeah, it's not good.
Firefighters say the blast happened around 9:15 in the morning in a penthouse utility boiler room on the 28th floor. 3 workers went to a local hospital with serious injuries. 4 workers went to a trauma center with critical injuries and are in life-threatening condition.
It's the number one for safety, and we're higher risk than the police and the fire department. It's a risky job, so I'm not surprised.
The site, called King's Landing, is being built by Concord in North York on Esther Shiner Boulevard near Shepherd and Leslie, not far from North York General Hospital. Workers tell us Tower C, the one closest to Shepherd, is where the explosion occurred.
Reported that there was a gas explosion, and we had patients exhibiting signs of burns.
As a result of the explosion is what I can tell you. I can't get into the specific nature of their injuries.
Crews are not revealing the type of gas that exploded, but say when they arrived there was no fire. Still, it was a long trek out for the injured workers. It's not clear if elevators were used, as some workers used stairs to evacuate.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, but it's all right. I'm pretty chill with it right now, just processing everything.
What are you thinking about for those that were burned?
Hoping that they're okay and they make it home to their families.
Yeah, one of them at least I know was a woman as well. I hope they're all doing good. It very serious. Didn't look good.
The Ontario Fire Marshal says an investigator and engineer have been dispatched. It and the Ministry of Labour are investigating. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
London police say they've arrested a 32-year-old man accused of stabbing someone this weekend. They say the attack happened near Dundas and Clark Friday night. According to police, the 53-year-old victim did not know the attacker, and he's expected to recover. A 20-year-old man was found guilty of manslaughter this afternoon at the London courthouse, convicted for his role in the fatal stabbing death of a teenager. With more on the jury's decision, here's Nick Paparella.
20-year-old Trayton Hoffman of London left the courthouse with his head down after being found guilty of manslaughter in connection with the death of 16-year-old Malik McDonald Mills. Throughout the 2.5-week trial, the Crown argued that even though Hoffman didn't actually stab the victim, he was a party to the offense by chasing him and using pepper spray. The jury took less than 4 hours to agree with the Crown and return with the guilty verdict. The court heard that on the night of August 9th of 2023, a group of young people had been consuming alcohol and marijuana in the King Edward Avenue area when McDonald Mills was attacked and suffered a fatal stab wound to the femoral artery. 2 others charged under the Youth Criminal Justice Act still need to be dealt with before the courts in connection with the same stabbing death. Hoffman remains free on bail until his sentencing hearing, which is set for February 3rd. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
In another courtroom, all the evidence is now in at the dangerous driving trial of a London man who claims he wasn't behind the wheel. The lawyer for 31-year-old Baha Ali wrapped up her case, recalling several Crown witnesses, asking them if they were certain the accused was the one driving the day his vehicle crashed into the victim's car in November 2020. 68-year-old Joan Clubb was a passenger in that vehicle, and she died in hospital. One witness told the court she remembers Ali standing next to his car while emergency crews took over the scene. Closing arguments in the case are now expected on November 20th. Local health researchers say they've developed a new scanning technique which could change the way prostate cancer is detected and treated. With more on their progress and what it could mean for patients, here's Rita Ismail.
A Canadian research team is calling it a game changer. After 7 years and thousands of patients, a new study led by London Health Sciences Centre, Lawson Health Research Institute, and University Health Network shows an imaging scan called PSMA PET is significantly more effective at detecting recurring prostate cancer, and it's improving survival rates.
One of the frustrating clinical situations we had was men who have had treatment for their prostate cancer where the PSA blood test, which is another test we have for prostate cancer, starts going up, makes us worried the cancer might be returning, but our regular scans with bone scans and CT scans really don't help us understand where the cancer is. They don't show us where the cancer is. So PSMA PET imaging was really designed to try and fill that gap.
Researchers found it could detect cancer in 70% of patients compared to just 10 to 20% with conventional bone and CT scans. Almost 90% of men whose cancer was found with this scan had their treatment plans changed, and those changes made a big difference. Those patients live longer than those treated using standard imaging.
Really what the PSMA PET scan allows us to do is to tailor treatments to men's specific circumstances if we're worried about the prostate cancer coming back. So we can offer them treatments that are most appropriate to their situation.
The technology was first used in Canada by the research team in 2016. Thanks to this study, the scans are now publicly funded in Ontario for men with advanced prostate cancer, marking a major step forward in cancer care. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Researchers in Huron County say local waterways are increasingly subject to wild swings in conditions. Scott Miller has more on the human impacts for our vulnerable ecosystems.
Couple in there, maybe. Yeah. Researchers with the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority are literally walking and studying hundreds of meters of rivers and streams to find out just how badly humans are impacting the environment.
We're lowering the numbers of creatures that live around. We are introducing different creatures and plants that are they really throw things out of balance.
This is the second year for the aquatic health assessment taking place in the Maitland Valley watershed. Things like water flow, oxygen levels, fish and bug health, tree cover, even riverbed geometry are being documented.
The study has really highlighted that you know, we're going from extremely low water conditions in the late summer all the way up to extremely high water flood conditions, and it's just ripping our streams apart. And it's not the fish and the bugs, they aren't able to live there.
While there is some very basic provincially mandated annual water testing that takes place across the province, this level of on-the-ground, in-the-river research simply isn't happening in Ontario, says Guthrow.
There needs to be a move back to primary ecosystem sciences and to have community science that's done on the ground, that's held by the community. It's not held away from the community, it's not held in a provincial database, but it's ours.
There's a real lack of data for a number of different reasons, but we've recognized that gap and recognized that we do need some actual on-the-ground data to help us figure out some answers to some questions that we have.
So there's a male, and those are breeding colors.
This research is being made possible largely from private donations through the Maitland Conservation Foundation. Its vital work, Guthrow believes, will provide baseline data for current and future generations to understand what's actually happening in the region's ecosystem.
We have a lot of pressures coming in. We want to be able to catch those before they become major problems.
Near Wingham, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London Food Bank officials are calling this year's Thanksgiving food drive a success, capped off by a generous donation. As Brent Lale reports, it meant this year's campaign exceeded expectations.
The directors of the London Food Bank were surprised when a man arrived over the weekend wanting to make a massive cash donation to help people in need.
We just met with somebody who gave us $85,000, but didn't want it to be part of the food drive per se, but their awareness was raised during the course of the food bank, mostly thanks to the media, people like you, right? They hear about it and they just want to give.
Glenn Pearson says he would like to thank everyone who helped spread the word about the current food security crisis.
Started the drive. 10 Canadian municipalities went on record, their city councils, saying state of emergencies in their towns about food security. So we went into that, going into this drive, but Londoners really came through as they always do. So we're at £91,000 at the moment. We were at £85,000 last year, so they're ahead of the game.
Helping to push the Thanksgiving food drive over the top is the annual Turkey Trot Run at Springbank Park.
It provides a community opportunity. We've had many families come back year after year. They come down and they run their race and they go home and they have their Thanksgiving dinner.
Hundreds of people hit the cross-country course while making donations to the food bank.
We hope that what we can raise goes a long way to help people out that need it. Like I said, last year I think we raised about $1,300, so we're hoping this year we'll exceed that.
Pearson says the last 10 days have been rewarding.
You should have seen the people coming into the food bank or into the grocery stores, all sorts of different organizations, institutions, individuals, families, schools. It was wonderful. And I do think, though, that it's a sign of the times. You know, the reason why this generosity is like this is because the need is so great.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Coming up, Chinese leaders indicating they may move on canola tariffs, but it could be risky for Canada. Plus, the growing concerns over the tenuous peace agreement in Gaza and the likelihood it holds.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. A Canadian researcher with ties to Western University is among 3 researchers recognized with this year's Nobel Prize in Economics. With more on his work and local connections, here's Jeremy Sherrill.
Inside the Royal Swedish Academy of Science in Stockholm, a highly prestigious honor.
Philippa Guion and Peter Howitt.
This year's Nobel Prize for Economics awarded to 3 researchers, including Canadian Peter Howitt.
It's hard to express how I feel right now. I'm just thrilled and still somewhat in shock.
Recognized for his role in mathematically explaining creative destruction, an economic concept where new innovations replace older technologies and businesses. Howitt is from Guelph, Ontario, studied at Western and McGill universities, and is now a professor at Brown University in Rhode Island.
Working in Canada was where I really cut my teeth as an economist. The atmosphere at Western University was the one that really taught me how to be a productive scholar.
In a social media post, Prime Minister Mark Carney congratulated him for his lifetime of path-breaking research, adding that his work is a foremost example of Canadian ideas having global impact.
It's an inspiration for everybody in Canada.
This Queen's University economist says Howitt's work was foundational.
I think they've planted some very useful thoughts in our mind that growth is not a smooth, straight line.
Peter Howitt becomes just the 5th Canadian Nobel laureate to be recognized in the category of economics. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian premiers are at odds when it comes to Canada's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. On the prairies, they want them lifted so Canadian farmers can get relief from punishing tariffs on their products. But as Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports, Ontario's leader doesn't see it that way.
Chinese EV brands like Warren Buffett-backed BYD are revving up their presence in Asia and Europe. But steep tariffs have the vehicles locked out of North American markets.
There's no damn way we should drop tariffs on China, I'll tell you that. Absolutely not.
But that's not how all the premiers feel. The premiers of Manitoba and Saskatchewan want Ottawa to scrap its 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, now that China is pledging to lift its punishing tariffs on Canadian pork and canola in exchange.
When we're talking $2 a bushel off the price of canola just since the tariff announcement, that's quite a big hit to our bottom line.
But while farmers are feeling the financial hit now, experts in the Canadian auto sector fear a bleaker future if cheaper Chinese-made cars start flowing in.
We cannot allow it to happen. These are subsidized vehicles, and they would attempt to take market share from Canadian North American manufacturers without agreeing to trade on a level playing field.
The federal government has said it's reviewing its EV tariffs, a move that will likely come up later this week when the Foreign Affairs Minister meets with her counterparts in China. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
International leaders say the ceasefire in Gaza is holding, but there's uncertainty about next steps. Hamas authorities have not yet delivered the remains of 24 hostages, and they're reportedly regrouping their military resources. With more on today's developments, here's Heather Wright.
An emotional and painful homecoming as the remains of 4 deceased hostages arrive at the Forensic Institute for Identification in Tel Aviv.
Learning we're only getting 4 of them was a big kick in the stomach.
Rotem Cooper's father, Amiram, was 85 years old when he was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th. He was killed in captivity. His body is still in Gaza. Families were aware that all 28 deceased hostages would not be returned yesterday, but they hoped they would be able to give more proper burials.
It's very clear that Hamas is playing games, that Hamas is not really cooperating, is not really in good faith.
Hamas has said it will take time to find all the bodies as they aren't sure where they are all located. Late tonight, Israel announced Hamas would release more remains. Their identities not yet known. In response to the delay, Israel said today it will delay the reopening of the Rafah border crossing into Gaza and reduce the amount of aid allowed in. By how much and for how long is not clear. In Gaza City, bulldozers cleared piles of rubble today, a first step in allowing people to return. But with limited equipment and an estimated 84% of the enclave destroyed, according to the UN, it will be a lengthy process.
We don't have enough equipment, enough loaders or bulldozers to carry out this work.
As Gaza begins to rebuild, questions remain about the durability of this ceasefire and the future of the enclave where Hamas has been trying to reassert itself in recent days. This video, reportedly taken in Gaza City, shows Hamas fighters rounding up several men in a circle and shooting them.
The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire? It's still unclear, but I'm fearful that it's more the latter than the former.
Today, the United Nations put a price tag on how much it will cost to rebuild the enclave. $70 billion, with at least $20 billion needed over the next 3 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Tel Aviv.
We're heading back to Western University now, rejoining Julie Atchison live on location for us tonight for a look at the forecast. Julie.
Thank you so much, Carlisle. Today was a gorgeous day. It was nice and fresh first thing this morning, and temperatures climbed above average this afternoon. We hit the upper teens in southern Ontario. Conditions will continue to be lovely tonight. We're at 19 degrees for our high today, 6 degrees our low. So as you can see, coming in above normal this afternoon, and a sun setting just before 7 o'clock. Currently at the London airport, the temperature's hovering at 17 and the winds on the hour out of the west-northwest. The pressure's at 102.4. Now, I mentioned a weak front that's slumping its way through. There's not a lot of moisture out ahead of this front, but what it will do to our area is bring a fresh push of cool air for tomorrow. Now, if you look just off to the west, there is some rainfall moving in. That will generate about a 30% chance of showers for us overnight and first thing in the morning, but high pressure in northern Ontario will win out, and that will bring us some nice conditions heading into tomorrow afternoon. Now, it looks more autumn-like, doesn't it, across the country? We have single digits in the prairie Prairies. In Western Canada, just 12 degrees. 8 in London overnight. Mount Forest, KW, 5 degrees, so milder than it's been. And along the lakeshore, 9 to 10 degrees. The winds out of the northwest, west-northwest will ease off. So this is that little squeak of moisture coming through at about 3 a.m. And then first thing in the morning, possibility of a very light shower. Skies will clear in the afternoon, and we're back into sunshine. So mid-morning, likely 9 to 10 a.m., you'll start to see the sunshine peeking through the cloud cover, and then the sunshine moves back in. As we head into Thursday, we'll hold on to the sun, but then Friday night, we have the chance for showers. So Friday will be the next opportunity for rainfall. Winds out of the north tomorrow, and the high temperature coming in at just 15 degrees. Lots of sunshine, though, and that will carry us right through to your Thursday. Friday, we're into a mix of sun and cloud, and then the chance for night showers will really ramp up. So 30% during the day and 60% chance Friday night. We're back to some sunshine on Sunday, but Saturday rather, and then Saturday night, the chance of rainfall. Showers on Sunday. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast featuring a bit of a jump in temperatures this weekend, especially those overnight lows, and then overcast as we head into Monday and a mix on Tuesday. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast single digits overnight, down to about 7 degrees, and then up to 13 to 14 tomorrow afternoon. We will see clearing take hold in the afternoon. Not expecting much in the way of showers overnight for you. Lots of sunshine in the forecast on Thursday, and then the chance for showers Friday, and then Saturday we have some nighttime rain. Showers on Sunday and into Monday, and at this point we desperately need rainfall. I was chatting with Ernie from Appleland this weekend, and we were talking about just how dry it has been, and looking down, of course, at the dirt, you can really see the moisture, the ground almost cracking, or lack of moisture rather. So in terms of rainfall coming our way this weekend, I know the farmers will definitely be happy, as some moisture will be welcomed across the region. That's a wrap tonight from down here, Carlisle. I'll send things back to the newsroom.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Coming up, a data breach at Canadian Tire may have exposed credit card numbers. Details on what customers should know.
We want to send you to paradise. Keywords for the Pure Country Passport return tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And before 8:35, make sure you've downloaded the completely free iHeartRadio app. You're going to need that to win Luke Combs tickets with our Luke-alike contest. Good luck.
Officials with Canadian Tire say some customer information was involved in a recent data breach. They say the breached information belongs to shoppers who had an e-commerce account with Canadian Tire or its other brands like SportCheck, Marks, and Party City. The data includes names, email addresses, and in some cases, incomplete credit card numbers. According to the company, the information is not enough to access accounts or make purchases. A recent study has found nearly a third of all vehicles involved in a crash in Canada are now written off, even if the damage is minor. As Pat Foran reports, that's because the cost to repair them keeps rising.
Somebody behind me jumped the gun and he hit the tail end of my car.
Carolyn Riley Joseph of North York says it was in August when another driver ran into the back of her 2020 Jaguar E-Pace. The rear bumper was damaged, but the car did not appear to have major issues. She went to a body shop to get a quote for repairs.
The first quote that I saw was about $4,000 and change. He did tell me that, once I bring in the car to be fixed and they actually hoist it up, they might find further damage underneath. I totally get that.
She was then quoted $8,000, and after an insurance adjuster checked the car, she was told it could be as much as $15,000. Even though the Jaguar is only 5 years old with 75,000 kilometers, she was told it would be written off and she would get a check for $26,000.
I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, the airbags didn't go off. It's not extensive damage. There's no damage to the frame.
Her insurance is with Echelon. When we contacted the company, a spokesperson said, Echelon carefully reviews and evaluates every claim. Typically, the vehicle would be a total loss when the cost to repair it is higher than its actual cash value. However, it's not always practical to repair a vehicle, even if the cost of repair is less than its actual cash value.
A total loss is typically just the most economical way to settle the claim. It's just a mathematical decision.
The Automotive Industries Association of Canada says cars are being deemed a total loss more often as parts cost more and there are delays to get them.
Repairs have also increased in price, and so have rental car costs. But the main reason is the complex safety systems, which use cameras, radar, and sensors.
We have to replace many, many, many more parts than we ever did in the past.
Riley Joseph is frustrated as she still owes more for the car than what she's being offered. The insurance company is moving ahead with plans to write off the SUV, even though she feels it should be repaired.
Honestly, I don't think there's any need for my car to be written off, so I'd like my car to be fixed.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up today on gains in the base metal sector. The TSX gained 503 points. In New York, the Dow added 203. The Nasdaq fell 173. Canadian dollar lost a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $30 an ounce. Oil dropped 79 cents a barrel. Still ahead, the changing face of a community tradition in Dorchester. We head to the 170th edition of the town's Fall Fair.
5K a day is back on 97.5
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Jeff KP and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Welcome back. Voters are casting ballots in Newfoundland and Labrador today in a provincial election. This is Liberal Premier John Hogan's first election as leader. His party has been in power since 2015, looking for a fourth consecutive term. The PCs are led by Tony Wakeham, also campaigning for the first time as his party's leader. The NDP leader is Jim Dinn. Heading into today, he was polling a distant third. The 28-day campaign focused on health care as well as improving firefighting resources and a potential agreement to provide more electricity to Quebec. New American tariffs on the lumber industry are now in effect. Softwood lumber and timber products are now subject to a 10% tariff. Upholstered wooden furniture plus kitchen cabinets and vanities are at 25%. Some of those tariffs will actually rise on January 1st, as high as 50% for kitchen cabinets and vanities. The United States imports the majority of its lumber from Canada. Economists have warned the new tariffs will increase building costs, with materials already 34% more expensive than they were in December 2020. Dorchester hosted its 170th Fall Fair this past weekend, with thousands of people enjoying the rides, music, and agricultural festivities. Brent Lail reports.
As the rain came down, more than 30 entries took part in the annual Dorchester Fair Parade. They made their way to the fairgrounds to celebrate this year's harvest and agriculture life.
The exciting thing for me was seeing all the farmers come out, support each other, show off their crops. I'm all about the animals, as I am a dairy farmer, and our ag building is probably my favorite part of our fair. But seeing the community come together like this is incredible.
And the community came together this year more than ever for their annual cereal drive. The total was up by more than 50% over last year.
So the challenge goes out to all the schools, and have great participation. It's a matter of kids helping kids. We collect breakfast cereal for our local food bank and a few East End schools in London that the need is there. Currently, we're probably close to 25,000 boxes of cereal that have been raised over the last 21 years.
The cereal drive is the brainchild of former fair member Daryl George, who passed away recently.
It's just amazing what people will do, and we're here as an avenue to put it all together and get it out to those who need it.
Making the rounds at the fair is Ambassador Kyla Lewis.
I've lived in Dorchester for as long as I can remember, so the fair and the communities are always held a special place in my heart, from watching the parade as a young girl to participating in the 4-H shows and touring all the wonderful exhibits that we have going on at the fair. So just really wanted to represent my community and show my passion for it.
Lewis adds she's also seeing a change in those attending.
As Dorchester grows, it's great to see more diversity at the fair and just see more people out.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
Tonight,
Beer from Canada filled with methamphetamine.
It was very confined. I could barely walk around.
An innocent young man dead.
He was screaming out, "I'm dying, I want mom. I'm dying, I want mom."
W5 investigates a sophisticated Canadian meth pipeline.
Just this tonnage coming our way out of Canada.
How criminals here are getting away with it.
He's obviously trying to lose us.
Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Thank you so much to Karen from Godrich. I received many photographs of clouds. These ones look like alto stratus undulatus. They're a mid-level cloud and they exhibit a wave-like pattern. Definitely a great capture. As we head into tonight, increasing amounts of cloud cover and we'll drop down to about 8 degrees. Could see a little isolated shower as we head into Wednesday morning. Lots of sunshine to carry us through your Thursday and Friday, but an unsettled weekend setting up.
Mail delivery resumed today as the union representing striking Canada Post workers shifts to rotating walkouts. The strike began September 25th, the second strike in less than a year. The job action launched in response to the federal government's plans to restructure Canada Post, largely eliminating door-to-door delivery. Leaders at several Canadian food banks are sounding an alarm over a growing food crisis across the country. With more on their concerns and what it means for the organizations trying to help Canadians in need, here's Sarah Plowman.
Potatoes might be a Thanksgiving staple, but not everyone can afford them, and food banks feel it.
That the demand is still higher than it's ever been.
In Fredericton, lines for help keep getting longer, but the need hasn't spiked as dramatically as in recent years. About 40 minutes north of Fredericton at this food bank in Stanley, it used to help 20 families a month 7 years ago. That's now quadrupled.
We have families, seniors, singles, couples. We have clients now that were donors a few years ago.
Last year's hunger count showed food banks experience more than 2 million visits a month, the highest ever. A third of the clients were children, 18% were people who have a job.
And that's really just a representation of how challenging the economy and the cost of living crisis is right now.
Food Banks Canada applauds Ottawa's move to spend on housing, but wants to see the Canada Disability Benefit increased.
We know people that live with disabilities face higher rates of food insecurity than the rest of the country.
Despite the challenges, food banks say they are here to help and want to. But fundraising, grants, and donations are always needed.
We can't afford to sink. There's no other option for the clients that are out here.
Managing the best they can as the number of those in need keeps growing. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Stanley, New Brunswick.
The Toronto Blue Jays are in a deep playoff hole. They're on their way to Seattle after losing both games this weekend in front of their home fans. Scott Hurst has more on the odds stacked against them.
The Toronto Blue Jays now find themselves in desperate need of a win just to keep their World Series dreams alive. The team is now down 0-2 to the Seattle Mariners in the best-of-7 American League Championship Series. The Mariners feasted on the long ball, knocking out 3 home runs in Game 2 on Thanksgiving Monday, while the Jays' offense at times looked like it was in a food coma. Notably, in the middle of the lineup, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who was red hot against the New York Yankees just last week, has now gone cold. And the Jays have only scored 4 runs so far this series in 2 games compared to the Mariners, who've put 13 on the scoreboard over those 2 games. Fans, as you might expect, are disappointed in what they've seen so far, but not giving up hope just yet.
It's disappointing. They need a lot of work to have to figure out if they go back to Seattle. There has to be a turnaround. I don't know. I just hope they can get their bats going again and things work out. But overall, the last 2 games, bad.
The series now shifts to the Pacific Northwest for the next 3 games. Games 3, 4, and 5 will take place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if the Blue Jays can win at least 2 on the road in Seattle, the series would shift back to Toronto for games 6 and 7. If necessary, those games would take place next Sunday, Monday. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Every day, people are working to bring hope to those struggling with homelessness and addiction. Watch The Helpers on CTV News at 6, starting next week. as we share their stories and ways that you can make a difference.
Finally tonight, millions of birds are heading south for the winter. It's an exciting time of the year for Canadian bird watchers. However, as Alison Bamford reports, the flocks flying south today are quite different from just a few decades ago.
Saw some ring-billed gulls on the river as well.
On any given fall day, Stan Shattuck can spot dozens of different bird species while walking along the South Saskatchewan River.
The fall is probably the busiest time of the year.
Shattuck's fascination for birding began at 6 years old, but what he sees through his binoculars now is quite different from decades ago.
When I was in high school, I would see maybe up to 1,000 warblers on a really good day, but nowadays, probably that's reduced to only 10% of the numbers we used to see.
Bird populations are changing. Stats from Birds Canada show waterfowl and birds of prey are up significantly since 1970, largely due to conservation measures, while grassland birds have declined 67%.
Grassland birds thrive on natural grasslands, and due to land use changes, specifically agriculture, for example, and urbanization, we're losing those grasslands.
Habitat loss along with climate change can be major threats to bird migration and breeding, which makes protected lands like Last Mountain Lake Migratory Bird Sanctuary crucial for survival, serving as a home for some birds and a pit stop for millions of others during migration season.
This might just be the convenient spot that they came through, or a place that they stopped last migration, or maybe they were hatched here and they're coming back.
Saskatchewan sits under the Central Flyway, a major North American migration route, which means birders like Shattuck have some of the best seats this time of year.
Always something is changing.
And all he has to do is look for it. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at CTV News London, I'm Carl Fazette. I'll be back tonight for your late news at 11.